And now I want to take you on the teaching journey of Bernadette Mitchell Allum, our icon for 2024. On the 7th of February 1945, Bernadette Mitchell was born to two teachers. And everybody expected her to become a teacher. Her first year teacher at the first school she attended at Patience Hill RC School was her mother, Teacher Vic. And the headmaster was her father, Lionel Mitchell, the skipper. So then everybody said, well, she must come out a teacher, father a teacher, mother a teacher. She has to be a teacher. Oh no, hold on. She had her own decision. Her own mind was made up. I am going to be a nurse. She went as far as to enroll in the nursing school in San Fernando in 1962. Talk about nursing. Yes, ma'am. See Teacher Pinky with your nursing hat. She didn't last 2 years. In 1964, she heard a call. Time for school to start. Bernadette answered the call. And in 1964, she entered the Mausika Teachers College. She and I had 2 glorious years. After graduation in 1966, she started her teaching career at the Scarborough Roman Catholic.
Soon we realized that our miss was a fun teacher. The way she delivered her lessons to the class made learning easy and interesting for us. Don't get me wrong, Teacher Pinky was determined and serious about delivering the curriculum to her students and demanded nothing but excellence always from the children she tutored. The way she executed, however, was stimulating. But what was most important to her was getting the results she desired. 2 years later, I met Teacher Pinky again, this time in the dreaded common entrance class. It was amazing the way she drilled and hammered those topics into us, yet we did not feel pressured or anxious. Her students excelled, no doubt, and Teacher Pinky soon became one of the well-known common entrance teachers in her day. Along with her regular classroom duties, Miss seemed to take over the cultural activities of the school. This added a delightful dimension to the ethos of the school. In her unique, dramatic way, Teacher Pinky trained us in choral speaking, verse speaking, public speaking, and, of course, dance. We did all kinds of folk dances, but we were intrigued by the foreign dances she taught us. Dances like the Ruspig polka. And do you remember? Ta-da-dum-dum-dum, ta-da-da-da-dum, ta-da-da-da-dum, ta-da-dum-dum. The famous Vasovian dance. And we couldn't fake, or make mistakes. Our miss successfully took the school through music festivals and arts festivals year after year. We became regular travelers to Trinidad to compete in the national finals. As a matter of fact, the school participated in almost every competition there was. And whether Teacher Pinky was in charge or not, she gave full support to her fellow teachers. How she did it, nobody understood. But by this time, her class had owned her. Teacher Pinky, we miss. I vividly remember this bittersweet, happy, sad moment. teacher Pinky announced to her class that she was getting married. The girls were thrilled and curious at the same time, wondering if her fiancé was handsome enough for wee nice miss. Not the boys. No. They were not happy at all and did not express any desire to see the gentleman. Regardless, in the new term, our Miss Mitchell suddenly became Mrs. Bernadette Allum. In 1972, Mrs. Allum was invited to share her skills and talents with all the schools in Tobago. She was promoted to Special Teacher 2 at the Division of Culture with special responsibility for drama. Scarborough RC was thrown into mourning, but we could not hold back this dynamic lady. Bernadette Pinky Allum became one of the first teachers in Tobago who received the Catholic Teachers Association Award for her loyal and dedicated service.
Before she could even get accustomed to her chair in culture, Bernadette Pinky Allum was off to the University of the West Indies, Mona, Jamaica, to pursue a bachelor's degree in education. Soon after she arrived in that place, she won the Best Actress Award in the annual Drama Guild competition, and this propelled her into the Jamaican theater world. Pinky captured the role of Madame in Dennis Scott's Echo in the Bone. But alas, her acting career was put on hold when she gave birth to her only child on December 16, 1974, right in the middle of her studies. Of course, she returned to Tobago with her husband soon after the birth of her child. But her parents and her sister Pat were determined that they would keep the baby so she could finish her degree. It was a very difficult decision for her. But back to the UE classroom she went. Pinky's thesis in drama in education demanded extensive research. Her passion for drama and her insatiable thirst for intimate knowledge of this art form led her into many Jamaican classrooms, teaching and learning about the use of drama as one of the more progressive teaching approaches. So it is no surprise that when she returned to the Division of Culture, she was ready to unleash her wizardry and leap into her workshops and drama initiatives in schools. Pinky gave new definition to her larger-than-life dream. Bernadette Pinky Allum. She visited every primary school in Tobago to share the vision of drama in education. The workshops she organized were the nesting grounds that gave birth to the famous Teachers Dramatic Society, bringing together teachers who were smitten by this unconventional method of inserting drama into their teaching toolkits at schools, and then watching the magic of drama and theater transform young, beautiful lives. By day, it was drama in the classrooms. After school, it was drama with the teachers when they became Pinky's drama students. She trekked the distances to Scarborough Secondary School, Signal Hill Comprehensive, Bishop's High School. Pinky Allum was the teacher of the teachers. She honed all aspects of drama and theater in them: acting, producing, stage management, and every aspect of the theater we could think about. And of course, Pinky, Madame Pinky, produced many productions like Calabash of Blood and The Harrowing of Benji, just to mention a few. I tell you, this dynamo was on the go. Then, after just 2 years in the Division of Culture, that same call the call to teaching, it came. Pinky Allum, she don't waste time. She answered.
Those reverberating throughout Main Ridge, hills, and valleys, confirming the acceptance of Bernadette Pinky Allum of the leadership at Bloody Bay RC institution. Nobody could understand this call. Why would anyone decide to accept that call? To venture into Bloody Bay every day to teach a handful of children in a little hut up in the bush. Emphatically, Bernadette Pinky Allum defended, the children of Bloody Bay are children of this nation and deserve to have quality education no less than every other child in this country. Let's talk commitment. Listen well how this lady demonstrated commitment. Once, early in her tenure, her car broke down for a short while. This was her routine until the car was fixed. Leave home for school 7 o'clock in the night. Catch a Windward car by Republic Car Park. Travel up to Auntie Mary's shop and residence in Kendall. Stay there until shop closed. Then upstairs, she went and catch a little sleep. Get up back at 4 o'clock in the morning, had to let go their loving principal, who had brought so much life into their little village. Most of the past pupils have maintained good relationships with Mrs. Allum, still seeking her out at her home, even now. Of course, they drop off a little provision and some fish every now and then. There comes the call again.
Mrs. Bernadette Pinky Allum rolled into Blackrock Government Primary School in 1984, and she turned it into a school with many differences. Everybody was a part of this one big family: teachers, students, parents, cleaners, and many resource persons. There was love, there was excitement, and there was, of course, hard work. We used the slightest opportunity to celebrate. Mrs. Allum would make one phone call: Gwenny, today's Altair birthday. What can you do for us? In no time, Gwenny would show up with roti, stewed chicken and dumpling, you name it. Pinky was one of Gwenny's regulars. Many times, Miss Allum would call her for a roti and sure to get it. But there were times when she had roti skin, but no meat. Gwenny would quickly warm up a tin of corned beef, and Pinky would enjoy her delicious corned beef roti. The parents at Blackrock loved and respected Mrs. Allum. Well, don't talk about the teachers. Do you know of any school where all the teachers ate lunch together in the principal's office every single day? Well, that was Blackrock with Pinky Allum. Every July, August vacation, many teachers gave up almost 2 weeks, not 2 days, before school reopened, and scrub all the benches and tables on the school compound. Mrs. Allum would lead by example. She would go down on all fours, scrubbing along with the teachers. On many occasions, visitors coming to the school would ask Mrs. Allum herself for the principal. Mrs. Allum loved the classroom and assisted in teaching the Standard 5 classes every day and even at the after-school lesson programs. With Pinky, there was always drama inside and outside of the classroom. The children enjoyed learning and they excelled, and the school did extremely well in all national exams. The Panning School program was taken very seriously under Mrs. Allum. Fresh in my memory is Miss Shirley Baird taking Coach Ramsey and his classmates down to the pan room to learn to play the steel pan. Mrs. Allum always reminded us of the Lincoln duo, Frederick and Jamie, renowned panists nurtured right at Blackrock. And of course, we all know that Coach Ramsey is today one of the most outstanding steel pan arrangers in the country. Mrs. Allum attempted an unofficial twinning program between her first school, Scarborough RC, and Blackrock. They collaborated and shared in many areas, and this initiative was very successful until Blackrock won Scarborough RC in a calypso competition with a calypso written by a Scarborough RC teacher, Miss Pat Mitchell. Of course, RC boasted that their teacher wrote the 2 calypsos, but Blackrock rebutted that may be true, but our presentation of the calypso was done by our principal, Mrs. Allum, and that is what made us victorious. After 21 delightful years at Blackrock Government Primary School, it was time to stop answering the call. Oh, so we thought. But Mrs. Allum answered the call to teaching once again at the St. Nicholas Primary School, where she taught the Standard 5 classes for 2 years. And by now, you are probably saying, well, that's it. No, ladies and gentlemen. The call came again. This time, it was a call from where she started, Scarborough RC School. Making a complete circle in her teaching career, she answered that final call to work with remedial students at that school. Miss Bernadette Pinky Allum answered every call to teach and left an indelible mark on every school she taught. Blackrock salutes you. Blackrock thanks you.
Bernadette Allum spent almost 40 years in the schoolrooms, teaching teachers, teaching children. Drama was her strong forte. Then she found that wasn't enough. She started to go around to the villages when heritage time. And she would help the villages to produce the plays and the skits and everything in a very professional manner. Pinky continued with this drama. And so the video in the Turn of the Tide, Pinky Allum was the person who selected the cast. She selected the cast for Turn of the Tide. The Tiny Walk and the Joshua and the Brawl and this one, they were chosen for those parts by Pinky. And so it went on and on and on. Drama in education was Pinky's strength. And Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean and all over, we could be proud of the products she produced. The people she nurtured and trained in drama, in the theater, in everything you could think about when it comes to the cultural aspect of the acting. It was Pinky Bernadette Allum. So it's a name that cannot be forgotten. It's a name that they cannot bypass in education, especially when it comes to what they now call theater. The secondary schools, they are now preparing students for theater arts. That was never a subject in the time. Pinky did all of that free. So, congratulations to her and congratulations to TTUTA for selecting her as the TTUTA 2024 icon.
At this time, we invite you to have your seats. I have the distinct privilege and honor of inviting, well, she's already here, Teacher Pinky, phenomenal, dedicated, innovator, so many words that we can use to describe her. But as she was being described as a teacher, I wondered if she had stayed in nursing, what a contribution might have been. So at this time, it gives me great pleasure to have the response of teacher Pinky, Miss Bernadette Pinky Allum.
President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Mr. Martin Lumpkin, and other national officers elected and appointed, Tobago officer, Mr. Braddon Roberts, acting school supervisor 2, Division of Education, Research and Technology, Mr. Philip Rochford, and other school supervisors present. 2023 to 2024, Tobago District retirees, Father Leslie Tankai, representative of the retirees section of TTUTA, Mrs. Jenny Lynn Correct. Representative of the Trinidad TTUTA districts, Mrs. Avanel Louis Etienne, specially invited guests, colleagues in education, members of the media. I'm not sure about this mic. Yes. Fellow teachers, ladies and gentlemen, young people, I listened to a very impressive report of my teaching career from some very beautiful people. Indeed, that story was delivered with love. Thank you, people, for your belief in me. But before I say anything else, I must make a huge correction. I did not really do all those things. I could not do any of those things. God it was. That is the person who did everything. And so this evening, I begin by thanking God for being my playwright. He wrote the script for the story of my life. I thank God for being my director, directing me through all the changing scenes of my life, and for being my producer, always making sure that the show was good. We can never applaud the Tobago Teachers Get-Together Committee enough for deciding to honor the icons of our teaching profession. If the truth be told, there are so many outstanding icons in our fraternity that they could never all be named, especially at the rate of one each year. Therefore, when I heard that I was chosen to be the icon for 2024, I knew that I had no choice but to answer that call. Thank you to the committee for acknowledging my humble efforts. I owe a great deal of gratitude to all the children, all the teachers, parents, and other members of the communities of the Black Rock Government School, the Bloody Bay RC School, and the Scarborough RC schools in particular. All who touched my life during my teaching career. I am also indebted to administrators at all levels who guided me to successfully chart my course through sometimes perilous waters. And a special thank you to all of you sitting here tonight, listening to me, including my loving and dedicated son. And 2 of my 3 grandsons. I must recognize at this point all the icons who went before me over the years, on whose shoulders I rode to accomplish my dreams. And now I crave your indulgence to allow me to thank the 3 teachers who were my ultimate icons. Lionel Mitchell, my father. Victoria Mitchell, my mother. And Pat Victoria Mitchell, my little sister. They shaped my career by example, by their support, and by their encouragement. I wish that they could be here tonight to share this moment with me. Fellow teachers, my one secret to success I would like to leave with you. Master the art of listening. Listening is giving attention to the songs and the heartbeat of others. And it is one of the sincerest forms of respect. It is the gateway to your success. To listen is to hear. To hear is to understand. Understanding holds the power to connect, to engage, to communicate, to learn, to teach, to love, to accomplish. Listen to the children in your care. Listen to your fellow teachers. Listen to your parents, your administrators. Listening is fast becoming a dying art. But as teachers, we have to listen. Finally, I hope that you hear the joyful whispers of my spirit as I once again say, thank you all, good night, and God bless you.